Hello and welcome to the ESG MENA podcast. I'm your host, Madeline Dunn, and today I'm joined by Oko Davaasuren, who is the Senior Director of Techstars. So Oko, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
Absolute pleasure. So I thought it would be great to sort of kick off with you just sort of telling us a little bit about yourself and sort of the role that you have at Techstars.
Yeah, so like you properly pronounced my name, Davaasuren. I am originally from Mongolia. I'm now based out of London. I actually moved here about a few months ago. And that is because of Techstars as well. I've been with Techstars for about 9 years. My job here is to help build and execute some of our ecosystem development projects around the world, right? Today, we'll get a chance to talk about some of our projects. But, I got into this because I was an entrepreneur myself as a student, and one thing led to another. I've started and failed multiple companies, and in that journey, I've also gotten more passionate about supporting entrepreneurs, just like Techstars. We believe in the idea that entrepreneurs are the people who are going to change this world for the better. And these crazy people need some support.
Oh, I think we've lost you there, Oko.
Oh, where did you lose me?
So just a couple of seconds back.
Okay. Just like Techstars, we think that entrepreneurs are the people who will change the world. And I was saying that these crazy people need a lot of support. They need good community around them. They need a thriving ecosystem to help them go from idea to building some amazing products and solutions. And that's what my job is here with my team, to support these entrepreneurs around the world. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And I know you said that we're going to sort of delve into some of the projects. And I know that you're now sort of accepting applications for the Angel Z Techstars Founder Catalyst program. So it would be great to sort of hear a little bit about that and sort of the focus on early childhood development and sort of the challenges that's sort of around that.
Yeah. So at Techstars, we're specifically around the ecosystem development work that I'm part of, we are extremely fortunate to be working with some really interesting and cool partners around the world, right? Oftentimes they're public sectors, like in this case, or private, like corporates, like JP Morgan, etc. This particular program is definitely one of them, right? This is a partnership between Techstars and Early Childhood Authority of Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. And when I could tell you initially when I heard that, I'm like, my initial reaction was, wow, a public sector that's dedicated to, building, growing and improving the ecosystem or lives of early childhood, right? Pretty cool. And and we got to partner and design a program with them. Now they had already started they do multiple things, one of which is to engage innovation ecosystem or startups or people who are doing some cool innovative stuff. So they had already started this project, and starting last year, we became their partner to help run this program, Angel Z program. And what this program is around, we work together to source global innovators. So we source globally to attract amazing founders who are doing, building great technologies and solutions to help mothers, children around education, around health, around security. And this year specifically, we're also interested in looking at startups who are utilizing artificial intelligence to enhance some of these areas, right? And that's what this program is about. So we go around, we source from around the world. We're hoping to get anywhere between 15 to 20 startups. We've gotten some amazing startups last year, so we're going to continue with that progress. And then we will work with them, help them grow, help them. One of the intentions behind this program is to help these innovators or these startups to soft land into the region through UAE and Abu Dhabi specifically, and bring about their solutions, global solutions to the region, right? And so we'll support them. And then towards the end, we'll have this 4-week immersion program, which is really another really cool experiment, part of the program. And then we'll celebrate with big demo day. So I'll stop there. I can keep going on about this program for a while, as you can see. Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to sort of more of the details of the program a little bit later, I think, and also about some of the previous startups that you've worked with, because that would be amazing to hear about them. But just sort of going back to sort of the early childhood development sort of challenges in the region, like what are you seeing in terms of the regional challenges and learning poverty and that sort of thing that the regional startups as sort of or the startups within the program are tackling?
Yeah, so I will go ahead and put a disclaimer that this is a new area for me personally, right? I've been in the startup and innovation industry for about 15 years now. I built my startups too, but early childhood development or early childhood area as an industry was fairly new. So it was very eye-opening experience. What we have noticed as part of kind of engagement last year, searching around the world, kind of looking around, is number one is that we're facing this time where personalization versus just kind of standard treatment, whether it's health or education, it was a big area of focus for a lot of innovators out there. Meaning, we're all sort of different in our ways, right? These kids are growing up in different environments, different communities, they're also neurodivergent in different ways. They have different ways to approaching learning or even just kind of health in its sense. So many of the entrepreneurs are trying to tackle that with some innovative technologies. We've had a lot of great solutions around general safety and security of children. And their families too, right? We've had amazing technologies around utilizing AI or even blockchain in that case, trying to create more diversified, decentralized systems to help people get personalized yet very private experience around, again, education or health. So those are some of the things, again, and this year we're hoping to really see and engage startups who are utilizing AI, particularly for some of these areas. Yes.
Oh, amazing. And I was sort of wondering as well about sort of like the ed tech sort of element. I know within a lot of MENA countries, sort of the enrollment rate of young children within early childhood education is really low. And I was wondering what you're seeing in terms of startups within the ed tech space, sort of targeting that sort of figure.
Yeah, naturally. So I want to point out again, we do source globally, although we do welcome local startups and we want to find local founders and startups. We do source globally. So most of what we're seeing is international startups. So I don't have too much insight into the local ed tech kind of scene. But what I can tell you is, statistically speaking, from our engagement, EdTech is definitely a major area of focus, and this is where we find a lot of founders. So stuff like emotional social learning platforms, right, or personalized at home or at school platforms that aids teachers or trainers or even parents to help their kids get more emotional learning and social learning engagement improvements, etc. Those were big, right? We've had a lot of kind of generic but newer learning management system platforms that was given to us. We had a lot of kind of teaching the parents how to educate their kids, etc. So EdTech is definitely a big part, and we see a lot of applicants and great entrepreneurs from EdTech.
And I was sort of wondering what your sort of predictions are in terms of sort of EdTech expenditure over the next few years. How do you sort of see that growing?
I wish I knew, but what I do, again, if I were to just kind of project from the stuff we're seeing with our Anjal Z program is, we definitely noticed that schools, whether it's educational institutions or parents or at home, etc., kids do need a personalized approach to it. And there are many founders who are trying to solve this problem in different ways. And I saw some amazing technologies around it, right? We had a company from Taiwan who creates these mini robots that end up being fully, and it already is integrated with general AI in it. So ChatGPT was actually integrated into it already. And what that allows is the robot to interact with kids or the education, the teachers in a way that really personalizes the approach to each kids in the classroom, right? So that was an interesting. Another one was a game that teaches kids on, again, social learning, but the game would immediately get feedback from the child that's playing with it and customize different elements of the game. So it's much more effective now for that individual kid, etc. So.
Wow, no, it does sound incredibly exciting, such an exciting space. It does seem like there's a lot of emphasis on sort of the power of play as well. That seems to be really sort of highlighted as an important element of early childhood development.
Yeah, that definitely was the case. I would say out of 15 companies that we worked with last year, I would say 6 of them were around game as a platform, but using game to then provide health support or educational support or even diagnosis tools, etc. So.
And I know you've spoken a lot about sort of the integration of AI, but I was wondering what you're particularly excited about seeing in the space since you've sort of come into it.
Yeah, part of kind of designing and creating programs like this with partners like ECA Abu Dhabi is that we really get to learn from it ourselves. And so, we ran our first program together last year. It was incredible, the amount of success we've seen. Many of our startups ended up fundraising or starting real projects on the ground with real schools in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, for instance. Some of our tools, there's a microbiome startup originally based out of Harvard. They're now starting to bring their new testing tech to the region, for instance. So these are real, usage cases or concepts that are being tested now. When we do this, we see these results, we observe what we've done well, and then we pivot, right, as a working group. One of the things we really want to focus, like you mentioned just now, is to see if there's, companies out there that's utilizing the latest of the AI technology to do predictions or to personalize some of these solutions. We would like to also see more startups in security and safety of children this year as well to be more involved. We are close to closing our applications, and we've already gotten close to doubling our application from last year, which is pretty exciting. So program is getting known, and I am assuming the results are speaking for themselves and attracting startups too. So those are some of the new designs that we're putting forward, and that obviously encapsulates some of our excitement and like things we want to see be part of our program moving forward.
Oh, amazing. And I know you said that you're sort of nearing the end of the deadline is incoming sort of thing. But yeah, I was wondering if you could sort of just share a little bit of information for those who, potentially haven't had a chance to apply yet, sort of what they would need to do, and also just a little bit more detail about sort of the tracks as well within the program.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And so unfortunately, by the time we are kind of putting this out there, startups literally will, if I'm not wrong, will literally have like few days before the applications close. But not to worry, because we will be running another cohort very soon in 6 months' time. So we'll open up the application again, and we will welcome and engage. And we actually go out there and invite a lot of startups to participate too. Generally speaking, there are about 2 tracks in our program. We call growth and early. And in this case, we used some different terminology, launch, etc. But what that is that we're looking for 2 tracks of startups. One is startups who are kind of early in their journey, right? If you were to classify it, you can think of them as seed, pre-seed stage startups. You need to have a pretty solid hypothesis around your products and services. It'd be great if you have your product ready, but it's not fully necessary. At Techstars, we always look for team. And that's true here. So we're looking for great founders who are coachable, who are open-minded, who are obsessed about the problem that they want to solve and want to work with us to grow as founders themselves and try to build the solution thereafter, right? So that's kind of the early stage part. We'll be probably looking at 10 to 15 startups for that track. And then on the other hand, we have a growth track. These are kind of, you can think of now startups in seed, series A kind of area in terms of classification and fundraising. You have your products ready. You probably have some traction in your home markets. You have some customer base, you have some metrics that you can demonstrate that, you have a great potential ahead of you and that you are, now ready for secondary market, right? Both of these tracks, though, one of the things is that it is a inbound soft landing program, so to speak, right? Because as this partnership, we're trying to attract global innovators to Abu Dhabi, to the region. So this is an important one, and I hope that startups who apply to this have that intention. I've been there multiple times myself. I love Abu Dhabi. I love UAE and the region. So I think it's one of the most exciting places to be in as a founder right now. I was just on a call earlier with my colleague who's there, and what she said was the density of innovators and density of just interesting people is so high. It really is becoming one of those next kind of hot ecosystems out there. So I think it's a great opportunity for founders who really are looking for amazing new markets to bring their solutions to. So this is a big criteria we ask from founders who want to apply. So, and then the website is available. Everybody can go there, reach out to us, either us or ECA folks will be happy to answer and interact and communicate. Our founders are available to connect to the alumni and the current participants. So, and then you can prepare. I'm happy to always help startups who are interested to help them how to kind of shape their applications for success, etc. Yeah. So, it will be soon open. Next cohort will be open very soon.
Right. Right. And we'll come back to sort of, you were talking about the startup ecosystem in sort of the UAE, and we can talk about that in a second. But I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about sort of what participants are offered through the course as well in terms of sort of guidance and feedback and sort of that sort of thing. Yeah.
So part of kind of the components or the elements of being in this program is there's a few different buckets. Number one is the benefit that the ADIO, so it's not just Early Childhood Authority and Techstars. We also have multiple other local partners such as Abu Dhabi Investment Office, Hub 71, etc. And from those partners with ECA, there's this really great soft landing support package, and that's about $220,000 worth of credit and support. And those are really catered towards, really helping you bring your startup, right? Your costs associated with that, with registration, with housing, with, contracting marketing firm to help you to go to market strategy and your, promotions, etc. So there is that element, and that element in itself, I've been in the industry for a while. It's one of the best, packages out there. I can tell you right now. Besides that, this is not just those perks, but we also designed a experience for the founders. So as founders join our program, they'll be part of 10-week program with us that is involved, compromises of online, virtual, plus in-person elements. So 2 parts to it. First, all the founders will work with and join Techstars network, basically. And what that means is that they will have access to 40 plus dedicated mentors who are raising their hand and saying, let me help these startups grow and build and succeed, right? So first is that. Secondly, we built a custom program in terms of master classes and workshops and contents that we invite from around the world, who will then teach these startups, spend some time with these startups to help them again grow. Outside of that, the in-person element is where we will invite some of the startups, especially the growth ones, to come to Abu Dhabi, spend some time, have some immersion experience on the ground. Experience what Abu Dhabi is like, what the culture is like, what is it like to be in that ecosystem, etc. And there are, again, some really, I've been part of that experience. It's really cool, right? So that's what you get. Throughout this experience, we have a dedicated team that includes myself in this team that will work with the founders on weekly basis throughout the whole 10 weeks. So those are some of the elements and components we put together between ECA, Techstars, Audio, and Hub 71.
Wow. So yeah, incredibly exciting package that the sort of participants offered. Yeah. Amazing. And sort of, just going back to what you mentioned before about the sort of the startup landscape, sort of within the MENA region, there are lots of sort of initiatives and policies that are sort of really encouraging, bolstering the growth of the startup ecosystem. But I was just sort of, wondering if you could share sort of how you see that sort of developing and evolving. Do you see the MENA region becoming this key hub in terms of the startup ecosystem and sort of like a real contender with the likes of Silicon Valley?
So as part of kind of an ecosystem development team, my job is to observe, learn, and be part of helping build communities around the world, right? So I got to work in ecosystem projects in Singapore, Japan, Korea, US, Europe, and then now in MENA. And what I can tell you is, number one of the things we try to avoid is comparison, because every ecosystem is really unique.
Of course.
There are sort of traits, and we say actors, actions, and attitudes. Those are the three things that we look for. So what kind of actors are out there? What kind of activities are going on? But most importantly, what kind of attitudes do they have? When we talk about Silicon Valley or Tel Aviv or London or Berlin, for instance, right, where ratings are very high, Singapore, for instance, and we categorize them as a thriving ecosystem. There are some shared kind of attitudes there. There are some, participation of actors, and there are some level of activities that seems to be common amongst these. So what we try to do is when we assess and we do this assessment of ecosystems, we look at these things and we try to kind of quantify this, and we try to see if we create network. So we get pretty nerdy and deep about looking at these things. With that said, my long answer to your question is, I think it's a really cool and exciting ecosystem that's coming together. There's a very fast acceleration of development happening. And that is very much comfortable for startups, right? There's a capital formation happening, obviously. There's a talent density increasing. There is a global attention that's also kind of coming together into the region. What that brings is mentors, co-founders, advisors, right? And yes, investors. There is more public sector support than in most regions around the world. And what that allows for ecosystem to have is much more proactive policy, friendly policy, and infrastructure in place, right? Hub 71, which is the office that we will base out of the program, is really amazing office where you can kind of spend a whole day and you can meet amazing founders who have shared your experience from around the world, doing some incredible thing. And you never know who you're going to run into in that office. That's a 3-story building, co-working space, WeWork, right? And so that's kind of, those are some kind of observations I have. Again, I think it's exciting. I think it's just being a founder. It's a place you want to be. It's definitely a place where you can accelerate your growth. you can meet the right people for your company. And you'll find an ecosystem that has the right attitude, which is from Techstars, we call it give first, which is this community of people who says, how can we help these founders succeed? Right.
Right. And just sort of lastly, I think it would sort of be great if you have any sort of final words, or maybe some words of wisdom as well as an entrepreneur yourself, and lots of experience within this space. Just to sort of close, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, one thing I like to share is this simple advice got always stuck with me from my mentor, Andrew Hyde, who's an American founder. And one time I asked him, and this many years ago, I said, Andrew, what's the secret of being a successful founder? And he goes, learn really fast.
Right.
That's it, And I think it's simple, but it's very true. Being a founder, being an innovator, trying to build something is a crazy journey.
Yeah.
It is. That's why they say, there are special people who do that. I'm a founder. I'm not always happy with that choice myself because it's a hard journey. And it really does take communities and ecosystems to build successful companies. It's not just about that individual founder. It takes, diverse, deep knowledge, wide knowledge into many subjects for a founder to be successful. So it's a tough journey. So don't do it alone. Find your people, find your community, be brave, go forward, right? Learn fast, learn a lot really, really fast. But it's a great time to be a founder. As always, especially in the region, it's an incredible place to be a founder. So, reach out, don't hesitate to ask for help and learn fast, learn a lot.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Oko, for sort of sharing those insights with us and for coming on the podcast. It's been great to sort of chat and hear more about sort of the program and sort of just the wider sort of startup ecosystem as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving me the time to talk about my long answers, but also about our program. As you can see, I'm clearly excited about. So yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time. Yes.
Thank you, Oko.